That seems to be a big issue, is safety.
Yeah, oh, that's probably, next to jobs, I think safety is definitely, certainly up there as a high priority where people are very concerned about it. We're
What is
walking
your
precincts every day and
Yes,
talking
thank you.
to seniors, talking to young people, talking to, everyone in the city. And they're very concerned about crime. What I propose is that we begin to decentralize precincts and departments.
What do you mean?
And well, if you look at the city of either Seattle or even New York, they may have a downtown station, but their departments and precincts are within the communities.
Okay.
And so we have to move towards that kind of model where not only do you have your officers, instead of checking in downtown, they can check into their local precinct, and that's within that community. So you're saving some money by not having officers always head downtown from, maybe East Oakland.
Yes.
But you have them situated right there in the communities that they're serving. We also need to move officers out of their cars and having officers adopt a block, which is getting out of your car, walking around the community, getting to know the community, and really understanding the face of the community. Because, there's a misconception between what you think a community is and what it really is.
That's right.
And we really need the community and our officers to really get to know each other. And then that's a way to drive down crime as well.
They say that is only a dream, that now officers and the community that cannot come together. But I believe that we can come together. Under the right leadership, we can come together. Your job is cut out. And not only the jobs and safety, another big issue that's out there is the education.
Yeah. Yeah, education is a big one. That's always been a very large, really concern for me, because education really is the key for our young people. If you get an education, you're more likely to really succeed in life, opposed to maybe trying to be a basketball player or some type of athlete. The percentages are very low for youth moving from high school into college and then moving into professional.
There used to be
teams.
Incentives in going to school that would create an atmosphere of wanting to succeed. That atmosphere is no longer in the schools, where teachers are not willing to teach, students are not willing to listen, and so now it's time to raise that bar of expectation. This is what you have to do in order to make it. And I believe now that the youth understand that no more it's a cakewalk. In order for me to make it, I have to get my education. But doors are being closed at the same time they're trying to achieve the education. There are no books, teachers are few, the hours are being cut, the strikes are there, and so still we have these illegitimate youths out there with no education but yet graduating, expecting to have a job but yet they don't qualify.
Yeah, there's a lot that really adds to a person's challenges of going through the educational system.
Yeah, and it's a challenge now.
It's a real challenge. But I believe if we as adults and as a community really push and raise the bar, like you said, of what our standards are for our young people,
Yes.
I believe those young people can meet it. And I also believe that as a community, because we're having so many budget cuts from the state, that's of course impacting kids getting new books or having to share a book with students. You run into those issues. We have to really understand that our money collaboratively can make a real big impact.
That's right.
And there are many
That's right.
schools
That's right.
where fundraising is a big priority, because
Yes.
they understand that because we're going to have some shortfalls, we've got to help back up our teachers and our schools and classrooms. So our communities really have to understand that we have to get involved. If not, a few dollars, then at least your time.
Yes.
Because we really need that, and that's about the only way that we're going to succeed. And I'd like to see more community involvement in our schools.
Do you have an initiative for that to come forth as far as involvement is concerned?
Yeah, as mayor, I just believe that it's important for you, especially now in Oakland, we have a strong mayor. That was passed when Jerry Brown came in office. So the mayor now has the power to really support the school district in ways where you can go out and develop private and public partnerships with corporations to bring in money. Ron Dellums brought in a lot of money, millions of dollars, for a program called Elevate, which is in 8 schools, and they're bringing in after-school programs, health clinics, and clinical therapists. So they're bringing in a lot of additional support services to school. And so those are ways that a mayor really has to understand that you can go out and make sure that people understand that education is a priority for you, and connecting with these private companies to bring in money into our schools. So that's a way that, we can really develop some partnerships and help benefit our kids.
You talk about bringing money into the schools, and every time we turn around, money is taken away from the schools, or they're not getting as much support as they had before. It seems like that's a battle. We're saying we're going to give money to the schools, but at the same time, they're taking away money. When you're taking away money from the schools, you're taking away education also. It's an awesome job with an awesome task, attached to it. They say that one thing about leaders is that some are invisible, and we never see them from the time we vote on them, and we see them no more until the next election.
Right.
And some are visible.
Right.
But the ones that are visible and the ones that we know are doing are well and few. You may can count them on one hand, if not 2 fingers. What is your stand on that? Are you invisible, or are you going to be visible?
Oh, very visible. I am definitely very visible in the community, because that's really the only way that people actually understand that you care,
yes,
and that
right.
you're connected. Most especially young people. I think young people really
right.
should have an understanding that the mayor isn't so distant and so far away that you can't, connect with that individual. And it's important because a present mayor gives hope to, the community.
Yes.
It also allows for young people to understand that maybe I can take that role at some point, and it gives them, a place where they can kind of set a goal. So it's important to have a mayor that's visible. You got to be out there.
What type of encouraging words would you say to the young man or young woman that would like to maybe run for a political office one day, and all the adversary that's in front of them that's really preventing them, but it takes that inner man to step forward and say, I can do this? What would be your words of encouragement to tell them you can take it a step further and a step higher?
Yeah. Well, I would say that you really have to have a personal relationship with the Lord.
Yes.
And in elementary and even in junior high school and on high school, my mother would she would always drop us off at school, or in elementary we would just walk across the street. But she would always, before we left out of the house, make us say, "No weapon that is formed against me shall prosper."
That's right. That's my saying.
So that's my mantra, and it's what I believe. And so when I'm running for a race, I already know that there's going to be opposition.
Yes.
There will be people who will say you can't do it. People are going to try to, take your name through the trash can and whatever they can do to really discourage you. But young people need to understand that one verse: "No weapon that is formed against me shall prosper." And when the Lord is with you, what else do you need?
Yes, nobody.
And that is a great encourager.
That's right.
And He will be with you, and really show you the vision so that you can show the people that. This is a vision sent from the Lord.
That's right.
And I don't care, nobody can reject it. It's there.
Right. That's right. That's right. And I love it in the Bible when it talks about He is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we can ask or think, and how He shall supply our every need. Even though there are a lot of non-believers out there, but I say a non-believer is a believer because they're believing not to believe.
Right.
They really believe.
Yeah.
But in order to make it today, we have to have a solid foundation, but not just a solid foundation. One of the main issues, too, that are regarding us today is health. Health is a really big issue right now with our young people, with our adults, with the working class. What are your viewpoints on health?
For me, I know that certainly for many communities that we're really impacted by our state of health, whether that's heart problems, people having heart attacks at very young ages, diabetes.
Yes.
And much of that many times is just caused by unhealthy eating. If people curb their diets and the way that they eat, they can really decrease a lot of these diseases that that can be managed by a good